And welcome back to the show. The James Beard Foundation is an organization whose mission is to celebrate and support the people behind America's food culture and champion a standard of good food anchored in talent, equity, as well as sustainability. Over the decades, the foundation has actually evolved from a body of celebrating gastronomy to a change maker and a thought leader driving impact across the industry. We're pleased now to be joined on the show to share more details, the Vice President of Programs at the James Beard Foundation, Ann E. McBride. And Ann, thank you for being with us. And for those who may not know, share with us a little bit more about the mission of the Beard Foundation.
Thank you for having me, Darren. It's such a pleasure to be with you this morning. So the foundation has, as you mentioned, celebrated the restaurant industry for a very long time, independent restaurants. And a lot of the work we're doing is supporting the industry with programs around advocacy, for example, around leadership. We have a big scholarship program that helps people really from the very beginning of their career to the point where they're award-winning chefs and restaurateurs. We support them. Same thing with writers, and we also do, we have a fellows program that supports young chefs and culinarians at the beginning of their career. We have a Taste America series of dinners throughout the country where people get exposed to chefs who are supporting, who are also championing the same standard as us in terms of equity, sustainability, for example, in partnerships. So that's part of our more public-facing elements also. So we cover industry, we help present the industry to the public in a way that helps them understand better the challenges that chefs face, especially these days.
And when we talk about challenges, I want to talk a little bit about food insecurity, if you could help us, because the work that you're doing is amidst the food insecurity crisis here in the state and really across the nation. How have you been able to address the issue of food insecurity and still be able to do the work that you do?
So a lot of what we do around food insecurity is in training chefs, if you want, on how to be better advocates for their community. So for example, around food insecurity, what should you know around upcoming legislation? How do you talk to your representatives, for example? What training do you need in policy advocacy to then really help strengthen your community around that? Obviously, chefs are very generous and always trying to support their communities in general. So how can we help give a bigger reach to their work, a bigger platform to their work is another way in which we can help strengthen their community around food insecurity. And then something that is perhaps less obvious, but so many minimum wage workers are food insecure themselves. So by advocating for better conditions for the industry, whether it's wages, whether it's benefits, all of that, it also hopefully leads to less food insecurity, period, in the restaurant industry.
And so for people who may not know, give us a little bit about the work that's going on to really address this amongst your organization, because I know that you do a great job with chefs and really getting them impacted for where we are today. But share with us a little bit more about that.
So our Open for Good campaign is something that we unfortunately had to start in spring 2020 when the industry really shut down. And amidst the COVID crisis, amidst all of the crises, and especially now also, continuing inequity in the industry and everywhere, amidst rising costs for chefs, that's something that is just insurmountable at the moment when your restaurants can barely be open. So some of the resources that we provide there are everything from advocacy for the industry to a virtual education library where people can watch seminars that we've done, webinars that we've done, functioning as resources, functioning as a network. We do a lot of promotion of other educational resources also, of partners that we have. We work with organizations like IRC or ROAR in terms of helping expand their programs and their reach. We've done a lot of fundraising for I'm blanking on the name of the fund at the moment, but dispersing of funds to independent restaurateurs who really needed it and did not have access. Our Black and Indigenous Fund, for example, a lot of Black and Indigenous restaurateurs, chefs and restaurateurs did not get access to some of the federal help because they were too small or got there too late. And the big restaurant groups had swiped up a lot of the money. So we created a fund where we could give them money and they could apply for things like that, for example. So it goes from resources, educational resources, to tangible amounts of money that people can access through us to help them survive this really insane period.
Yeah, you talked about a lot of work that you do. I forgot to mention, give us a little on the Women's Leadership Program.
Indeed. So that's a program that we started in 2017, and we just started a new partnership with Cornell University. So the 2021 cohort of this Women Entrepreneurial Leadership Program that just started this fall is in partnership with Cornell. We work with women who have existing businesses, and it's about growing their businesses. You need at least 1 or 2 units for this particular one. And the training that you receive over 10 weeks is on strategic thinking, positioning, articulating your vision, presenting it to potential investors, marketing, how to structure your finances, what conversations should you have with lawyers and accountants, etc. And at the end of that, they present a project that is around their articulation of their vision for growth for the future. So that is really the anchor of our women leadership programs. Before COVID, we did other programs also around the country. We did a little bit of that virtually. And in the next year, we'll continue to build, to expand what we do with this Women Entrepreneurial Leadership Program that reaches 20 women at a time to get to hundreds of women at a time through the work that we do.
So when people want to participate in being of assistance to the program and being a part, how can they do that?
Our website always has a lot of updated information on everything that we're doing. We have newsletters also for consumers who might be watching. We have our Beard Bites newsletter that keeps people updated on what we're doing for consumer-facing elements. For the industry, we have an industry support newsletter. So for any chefs watching, sign up for that and you'll get information about anything that we're doing, application periods for our next round of fellows, for our next round of Women's Entrepreneurial Leadership Program, any other funds that we might be launching, and those kind of things. So I encourage people to visit jamesbeard.org and sign up for resources, and also follow up on social media where they'll get a lot of updated information there too.
Share me a little bit about the success that you've seen through the program, and particularly working with chefs and the impact that it's actually been able to have on communities.
Indeed. So on the Women's Entrepreneurial Leadership Program, for example, we have very tangible measures that we can see in terms of women able to raise anything from 75,000 to 1.2 million for their businesses upon completion of the program, for example. People who participate in our Chefs Boot Camp, who then become much more confident talking to their to their representatives, and then become involved in politics locally. So to your point about community, if as a chef you can understand your power and you can use it beyond cooking for your community, but if you run for city council, for example, if you really understand that as a chef, you function as an intermediary in so many cases. You are the translator of information. You are the translator of information that comes from politicians, from farmers, from sustainability experts, nutrition experts, all of that. And you become such an ambassador for your community and for the people who may not necessarily have the trust of the public, right? I mean, the government is not necessarily who has the trust of the public. The chef, where you go and have dinner every night or every week, whatever, can become the person who represents you and helps you better understand the other side as well.
Amazing. And so as you look forward to 2022, what excites you the most about the work that you're going to be doing?
Really continuing to build on a very strong basis that we have. I mean, the work that the foundation has been doing for all these years, but in particular since 2020, of refining our mission around more equity, more sustainability, and culinary excellence, and how we define culinary excellence, in a way, we're a startup with a 30-year history. So continuing to build on these programs, continuing to work with partners who represent the same values than us, the same mission, and then really getting the industry to a better place and supporting the chefs and the business owners who are as committed as we are to making the industry better, more equitable, more sustainable for all, and getting out of this mess.
Yeah, we are looking forward to really getting out of it. But I want to thank you for the work that you're doing and also for letting us know a little bit more about the James Beard Foundation. Annie McBride, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Darren.
Oh, great. And we want to let you know for our viewers, if you want more information, please don't hesitate. Visit their website at jamesbeard.org. Also follow them on social media at the James, well, I should say social media at Beard Foundation. We encourage you, please don't go anywhere. Stay with us. Open continues in a few.